Now on to why Halloween 2018 sucks. And for those that are passionate and loyal fans of the Halloween franchise, only watching this video to go ahead and give me a thumbs down or give me some hate in the comments, you're the reason why I'm making this video. Hit the button. Let's get started. Hey there, hi there, ho there, Andrew here, the horror host of Generations X, Y, and Z inside Davis Manor, and I have been biting my tongue on this one for quite some time. I just can't stand it no more here. Before I begin, let me just say this. Halloween, 1978, my favorite Halloween movie, my favorite horror movie. It's the reason why I got into horror. I love the genre of horror because of Halloween. Michael Myers is my favorite slasher villain. Dr. Loomis is my favorite protagonist when it comes to horror movies. I'm a fan of this franchise. I'm a fan of the movie. And I call things the way I see it. Like a fan would do. Like someone that reviews movies, which I do on this channel. And if you are a fan of horror movies and haunted attractions and the like, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell icon. That way you get notified the moment that I upload. And make sure you check out my Patreon page, like these fine people right here. With their help, I am able to produce these free videos for everyone to consume. Make sure you click the card above, check out the link in the description box, or the link at the end of the video to see how you can be part of the show, earn some swag, and more importantly, have a say in the direction of the channel and future projects. Anyway, back to the drip of information here. This is going back to May of 2016 when we find out in the beginning that there's going to be a new Halloween movie, and it is going to be under the helm of Blumhouse. This is okay. I like Blumhouse, but this is what I find out about it. See, we've got MacLeod from Trancas International producing. Okay, the Accods have been with Halloween since the beginning. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Jason Blum from Blumhouse Productions is going to be producing. I'm okay with that. David Gordon Green, who is the writer-director of this film, and Danny McBride, who is the writer of this film, they have a production company as well. It's called Rough House Pictures. They're going to be producing this. And Zane, Divine, and David Thwaites, I think that's how you say his name, they are represented from Miramax, and they are co-producing with Blumhouse in this one. That means, and when I say co-produce, I mean like co-finance. That means there are 4 separate production houses, 4, that all have a say in this movie. And they all have a financial stake in this movie. That is not a good sign. And here is something that I have witnessed in no particular order. This movie was given a promotional poster, a black and white knife, nothing really that big, but people freaked out. Then, drip, we find out that the working title again, of Halloween is called Nightblade.
Zorro the Gay Blade.
God, I love that movie. They are not going to make movies like that ever again. Great movie. But people freaked out on the name Nightblade. For some reason, I don't know. I have no idea. It is called a working title. It doesn't mean anything. Almost everybody knows that the working title for Return of the Jedi was Blue Harvest. I mean, even Family Guy made a parody movie called Blue Harvest because of that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was called Head Cheese.
See, they make head cheese.
It's a working title. And then some people are like, well, maybe it's going to be called Halloween: Nightblade. Okay? And if it is, so what? We've got plenty of movies that have a name and a colon and then a subtitle. And in the horror genre, I mean, we've got Resident Evil, colon, Extinction. Hostel, colon, Part 2. Leprechaun 2, colon, Back in the Hood. Small Intestine, colon, Anus. I don't know. Maybe that was the working title of Human Centipede. I don't know. But after that drip, 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 we find out Jamie Lee Curtis is returning to the franchise.
A what?
Exactly! It doesn't matter. She's been killed off twice in the franchise already.
You only live twice, Mr. Bond.
Settle down, Loomis. You stay dead. Man, I miss Donald Pleasance. So, people love the idea of Jamie Lee Curtis coming back to reprise the role of Laurie Strode. Yeah, she died somewhere between Halloween 2 and Halloween 4, where the story took up that Laurie Strode's daughter, Jamie Lloyd, who is an illusion. An illusion? Yes, illusion, not illusion. That would be a whole nother movie. Anyway, she's an allusion to the fact that Laurie and Jimmy Lloyd from Halloween 2 hooked up and had a kid. And then died. And of course, we had Halloween H2O. What a great title. That didn't stink at all. And that was the 20th anniversary of Halloween. And they decided to wipe out all the Halloween movies except for the first two. And they created a new timeline. And Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode for that timeline dies in the following movie after that called Halloween Resurrection. But hey, at least we get an ending like this.
Trick or treat,
Yeah, drip, drip, drip. Once again, it is revealed that Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode is not going to be the sister of the shape that is called Michael Myers. Or Michael Myers that is called the shape. Anyways, is that good? Is that bad? Who knows? All we know is that Halloween 2, it's irrelevant. Doesn't matter. That this movie here, Halloween 2018, takes place after the first movie ends. I mean, not that the fact that Halloween 2, that was done in 81, literally takes place right after, like that minute, that same night as the first movie. Scrap it. We're done. It's not on there. Also, they are going to alter the ending a little bit of the first movie so it works well with this new timeline. Why would you not just reboot the series? I don't know. But a lot of people are freaking out about this. And I'll get into that in just a moment. Because we got to go and trip a little bit more. We find out John Carpenter is back. Yay. Okay. Why? Why is he back? We already got a writer. We already got a director. Is he going to be producing? Is this going to be a fifth producing company? Nope. He's going to do the score. I'm okay with that. John Carpenter is excellent when it comes to scores. His music is almost like another character. I'm happy with that. And apparently, he is also happy with the direction that David Gordon Green and Danny McBride are going to be doing, which means Michael's going to be killed off. But I'll get into that in a moment. See, because in Halloween 2, John Carpenter didn't want to do Halloween 2. But he wrote and he produced it, and he killed Michael Myers in that movie because he was not happy with the way the franchise was going. He did not want to have this serial killer slasher keep on going on. Too bad, because that's what happened. But he wasn't happy with the way that it was the franchise was going. Now he's back, which tells me this is probably what's going to be happening. Anyways, let me go on because I'm digressing here. There was some serious drama with the next drip, drip, drip. And that was that Laurie Strode is going to have a daughter, but it's not Danielle Harris. Danielle Harris played Laurie Strode's daughter in 4 and 5. She played Jamie Lloyd. She's not going to be in this movie. And then tons of Halloween fan fiction writers around the world reacted.
As if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
I mean, I know I was personally bummed out because I would have loved to have seen Lance Guest, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Danielle Harris as Jimmy, Laurie, and Jamie Lloyd. I think that would have just been really cool to see the three of them on there. But Laurie's going to have a daughter, But it's not Jamie. Her name is now Karen.
God, Karen, you are so stupid.
Drip, 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 we find out that the production of the movie was delayed a bit. People freaked out. Oh, it's not going to come out on time, all this other gullibagaloo. I would like to point out, Jason Blum said he would cut off his hand if this movie did not release on time. And we find out through another drip, 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 PG-13. It's not going to be R-rated. No, this movie's going to be PG-13. And people freaked. Why? Well, all the other Halloween movies were rated R. Even Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, that was rated R.
Wow, take off the third channel. The third channel. It's still running. Stop it, please. For God's sake, please stop it. There's no more time.
Wait a minute. Am I the third channel? Don't you take this channel off the air right now. In fact, pause for self-promotion. And remember to subscribe to this channel. And hit the bell icon. That way you get notified the moment I upload. Now, where was I? Getting back to what I was saying here, okay? Rated R movies do not equal scary horror movies. I mean, gore, maybe, some there. But there have been plenty of horror movies out there, successful ones, that have been PG-13. And yeah, most of them are like paranormal ones. You got the Insidious, Ring, and Grudge series. You got monster movies, Cloverfield, Tremors, Arachnophobia. They were pretty successful. Those were PG-13. Slasher movies are normally R-rated, unless you're like Happy Death Day. That was PG-13. But we are given more cast news. So let's go on with the drip, drip, drip. And we find out Laurie Strode is now going to be a grandmother. Not only is she a mom with Karen, but Karen has had a kid. And yes, Laurie, look at her right there. There's a promo picture with her and the director, David Gordon Green. What's he holding? Why, that is the original clapboard from the original Halloween movie. That isn't a promo picture at all. Of course it's a promo picture. And pretty much Jamie Lee Curtis looks the same. I mean, yeah, she's a little bit older because it's 40 years later. And yeah, they even gave her the same hairstyle, probably to differentiate the short hair Laurie Strode from H2O. At least it's a better wig than Halloween 2. I mean, here's a little bit of footage of Jamie Lee after the fitting of the wig in Halloween 2 back in '81. Let's continue with the drip, drip, drip information because they're just spoon-feeding little nuggets here and there. It's like, oh, another week and a half has gone by. Let's go ahead and give them some more information. Let's post another picture. What do we find out? We find out Nick Castle is back. Yippee? I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm not giddy for nostalgic reasons. I am. I think it's cool that Nick Castle comes back. But really, why would a producer / director of Nick Castle's bringing come back to act as an unemoting, masked, voiceless character? There is no reason but one: marketing. Then there are these set photos, and more importantly, these promo photos, and that is exactly what they are. They are pumping this movie out to be a wildly successful movie. That's what they want to do. They want to make this the next It. But It will not be as popular and as successful as It. Thank you, that is a great point. Long and short, this film is a cash grab. Yes, most horror movies out there, especially the sequels, are cash grabs. I get that. But this was decided and released on its 40th anniversary. And this is not the only time that a Halloween movie has been released on its anniversary of the original one. Halloween 4 was released 10 years after. It was the 10th anniversary of the first movie. Halloween H2O, that title was released 20 years after the original Halloween movie. And when the director Rob Zombie took over the helm and rebooted the franchise, that was 29 years after, almost 30th anniversary. And then now we have Halloween 2018, and it is released 40 years after the original. So basically every 10 years we got some kind of gimmick movie in it. I also think that this movie is strictly so that they can have some closure. And what I mean by closure, I mean they are going to end this, and then they're going to reboot the franchise. So expect, like I said earlier in this video, Michael will die. And die like legit die. That's why they keep on saying he's human. He's not supernatural. He's gonna die. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna put him in a blender. That way he can't come back at all. I don't know. But that is exactly what Carpenter wanted. So if Carpenter came back on board, it's because he wanted some kind of finality to the series. Listen, there are some things that are wrong in this. It just doesn't add up, and that is the information that we have been given, and this is why the movie sucks. Let me start off with the fact that 40 years after the first movie, H2, Halloween 2, not H2. H2 is Rob Zombie's. There's so many movies. Halloween 2 and on never existed whatsoever. So that means a few things. Like I said, Danny McBride, David Gordon Green state Michael is not supernatural at all. They allude to the fact that he is human. He has a human body. And he is not related at all to Laurie Strode. They are not brother and sister at all. And that gives me some questions, as along with a lot of other people. Why, after 40 years, is Michael Myers, now 61, going around killing people in Haddonfield? And what has he been doing for 40 years? Are they potential? This is a thought of mine. I haven't heard this at all on the internet. Are they retconning the end of the first movie so Michael Myers gets caught? And that means that Loomis takes him back to Smith Grove and watches over him until Loomis dies of old age. And when he dies of old age, that's when Michael breaks out again, because Loomis was the one that stopped him, and now that Loomis is gone, he may be free. It's a thought. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't heard that from anybody else. But if that's the case, does Laurie Strode still live in Haddonfield? And why would she live in Haddonfield when Smith Grove is a car drive away? I mean, it's not next door, but it's close. I mean, would you want to live in a town where a serial killer killed your two best friends and one of their boyfriends, and he's just a drive away? I would get out of the state, probably the country, to be honest. But she's probably still living there. I mean, unless Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Jamie Lee herself, she's just maybe not in the movie that long. And if that's the case, she's going to be like Mark Hamill in The Force Awakens, where we just see, a couple minutes, and that's it. Maybe she swoops in at the end of the day, or the end of the movie, I should say. She saves the day. That would be me mixing those phrases together. She kills Michael maybe at the end of the movie. I don't know how. Blender, I don't know. Anyways, getting back to Michael, okay? And Michael is not supernatural at all. In the first movie, he shows extreme strength. Extreme strength. He steals a gravestone, a tombstone. You know how heavy those things are? A 2-foot tombstone. Okay, only 2 foot. Weighs somewhere between 100 and 120 pounds. And Judith Myers' tombstone, that's a big tombstone. It's thick, too. It's got to weigh somewhere in the vicinity of 480, 500 pounds. I mean, don't ask me how I know these things. I just do. But Michael also lifts Bob Sims, okay? Picks him up, lifts him up, one hand. That's it. Stabs him. Impales him on the wall. Looks at him like he's a work of art. But his name's not Art. It's Bob. Which means that he should have drowned him, so he was floating in the water. That's a whole nother story. Anyways, Bob is there. He struggles. He's what, maybe 170, 180 pounds? But Michael is able to lift him up, solely up, with one arm, using just the deltoid muscle. That's a little supernatural, if you ask me. Not to mention the fact, okay, that Laurie stabs Michael in the neck with knitting needles, pokes him in the eye with a clothes hanger, shanks him in the torso with a knife. And then Loomis shoots him once when he's putting his mask back on, and then 5 more times as Michael is doing the happy dance right off the balcony. Who gets shot that many times, point blank, and lives? Okay, 50 Cent got shot point blank 9 times in front of his house next to his grandma. But he's not Busta Rhymes.
Trick or treat, mother.
Yeah, we did that clip already. Anyways, since we are negating all the previous movies, that means, okay, that Michael only killed 5 people in the span of 55 years. 5 in 55 years. There's a 555 evil joke somewhere there. I'm too lazy to come up with one right now. Getting back to the 5, though. His first one was his sister Judith. My gosh. Is that Judith from Grimes? No, that's a whole nother franchise. So Judith dies when he was 6, okay? 15 years later, he kills a mechanic. That was the guy that had the boiler suit. You know, that's the reason why he looks the way he does. But he kills him off screen, so we don't really look at him. But he is considered a death. He's considered a kill. Then, killing Annie Brackett, the aforementioned Bob Sims, plus his girlfriend, Lydia Vanderklok.
Totally.
Yes, totaling 5. And of course, that's got to be referenced in the 2018 film. You know, things like, Michael Myers? You mean that guy who broke out and killed all those people? 4! That's how many people he killed. 4 people 40 years ago. Who's going to remember that? No one's going to remember that. Nobody remembers that. And I will give you an example of why and how nobody will remember that. Jeffrey Dahmer. How many people did he kill? You don't know. And that was a little bit over 25 years ago. You know? No, nobody does. The answer is 17. Don't ask me how I know that. I just do. So, with those statistics, you are telling me that Jeffrey Dahmer is like 3 to 4 times deadlier than Michael Myers. Jeffrey Dahmer is 3 to 4 times deadlier than Michael Myers. Thank you for retconning and ruining a great character. And that brings me to the real reason why this movie sucks. This movie has been ingrained into the pop culture of our minds. If you reboot this series, people are not emotionally attached. But when you bring back people from the original movie, whether it is in front of the camera or behind the camera, for nostalgic reasons, you tie people's emotions to the movie. And yes, they know this. This is where you get comments like the "ruined my childhood." Those people aren't really talking about their childhood being ruined either. I mean, that's just a soundbite. I mean, what they're saying is, hey, you screwed up the original material with your unoriginal ideas, you schmuck. That's what they're saying. And if you need examples, I'm more than happy to give you a couple of them, okay? 2008, this is when I first noticed this, okay? Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, back in 2008. This is 27 years after the original movie, okay? They bring back Marion. They try to bring back the whole old charm that Indy is, all while bringing something fresh into the mix. Like, hey, it's got aliens. And it's later on, because Harrison Ford's older, it's not Nazis anymore, it's commies. Oh, and let's bring in a new character, Mutt. What happened? Fell flat. People don't like the movie. Not compared to the rest of the franchise. Another one would be in 2016, Ghostbusters. And man, that's a whole touchy subject that's there. They brought back the 1984 cast, okay? New movie. They want to do something different. They promoted it pretty poorly, if you ask me. You know, all female Ghostbusters team, blah, blah, blah. They didn't need to say that. You know, they were trying to be edgy and everything, and it fell flat. Why? They brought back the old cast to play new characters. Why? Why would you have a Ghostbusters movie 32 years later that had Bill Murray, that had Dan Aykroyd, that had Ernie Hudson, but you're not? You're going to give them new characters? They're not going to be Venkman, Stantz, Zedmore? Don't seem right. Fell flat. People definitely don't like that movie compared to the other ones. And what about something just recently, 2017, Star Wars, The Last Jedi. That movie's got a lot of issues with a lot of people, all right? But it came out 40 years after the original Star Wars. And finally, we get a whole bunch of promo pictures of Mark Hamill walking around with old Jedi clothes, and people want to know, what happened to Luke Skywalker? That character's been around for 40 years, just like Michael Myers has been around for 40 years, okay? Part of pulp culture in our heads. We like that character. And it was like, what, 34-year gap between Return of the Jedi and The Last Jedi? There was countless of books done, what was going on, fan fiction, a whole bunch of other stuff, But Hollywood needed to push a new product, and this isn't, when I say Hollywood, I really mean Disney, okay? They pushed new characters, added some of the old cast members for nostalgic purposes, and knocked them all down. And Halloween is the next franchise to do that. Now, Halloween is not on the same par when it comes to blockbuster movies like Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters, and Star Wars. But when you take it into its genre, okay, of horror, Halloween is an immensely popular franchise. Arguably one of the best, if not the best. It is like the granddaddy of slasher films. You are going to take some new characters. You're going to get the feeling of nostalgia by throwing in some old ones, killing off everything that you remember about the movie, all for the sake of money. And yes, the movies that I mentioned before, the ones that are stinkers, made money. Made a lot of money. But really, at what cost are we talking about here? I mean, are they going to be considered the best of their franchise? Will this movie be considered the best in the franchise? Even though there are going to be people out here in the internet, and they're going to say that the movies that I mentioned before are really good. With all the hype, all the anticipation, all the expectations, this movie can do nothing but be an overall disappointment to the fans.
God, please. Oh, God. No! No!
So do you agree with me or disagree with me? Go ahead, leave a comment down below, and remember, like, share, subscribe, plus hit that bell icon so you get notified the moment I upload, and I will see you in the next video.